I haven't. Good to be with you, Calev. As always, I haven't remembered a visit like this since Yitzhak Navon visited Egypt after the signing of the Camp David Accords. This is in the late 1970s, early 1980s. So it is an extraordinary event, and I think that President Herzog represented us very admirably and delivered a very powerful message, particularly on the Iranian issue. Make no mistake about it, the target of the Houthi missile may have been the UAE, but the message of the missile is designed for us. The IDF has to take into account that should Israel take any kinetic action against Iran, Iran can strike back. It can strike back by Hezbollah with 130 to 150,000 rockets, many of them embedded under South Lebanese villages, but also from Shiite militias in Iraq and from the Houthi rebels in Yemen. We also are within range. And so the message was sent, and it's rather unequivocal, that should Israel take any action against Iran, we could be hit by missiles from Yemen as well.
Right. And let's talk about how that security relationship is developing with the UAE. Initially kept quiet, but it seems to be coming a little more to the fore. For example, the way the Houthi attacks on the UAE are perhaps highlighting the cooperation that could be Israel's used to dealing with this kind of threat, the relationship that could develop with the Emirates.
Well, I think we already have that relationship. It is burgeoning. It is mostly, as far as I know, a defensive relationship. It's developing of defensive capabilities, anti-drone, anti-missile systems. At the end of the day, were Israel forced to take military action against Iran, we'd be pretty much on our own, and we would also be on the receiving end of a possible Iranian reaction. I strongly believe, Calev, that the Israeli leaders will have very little choice should efforts in Vienna produce an agreement which is worse than the 2015 JCPOA, and if Iran achieves threshold nuclear capacity, the ability to make a nuclear weapon within a matter of weeks and even a matter of days, that's a thoroughly intolerable situation for the state of Israel.
Right. How far do you feel that relationship with the UAE could go? You say it's primarily a defensive one, but of course, there's been a lot of speculation whether Israel could have an actual security presence there in the Gulf.
Well, certainly the UAE has geography in its favor from Israel's perspective. It's far closer to Iran than we are, and we have a problem. We do not have strategic bombers. We have fighter bombers, and they have to be refueled in midair if they're to reach targets in Iran. Iran is a very big country. It's about 3 times bigger than Iraq. It's much further, and the Iranian nuclear program is not one facility. It's an archipelago of facilities. Some of them are embedded deep underground. So having an ally with proximity to Iran is certainly a strategic advantage for the state of Israel.